Okay, so I spoke with Trent about 3 weeks ago. So where the stories over the last couple of weeks that have ended up with, lots of strange headlines, lots of strange stories, I've no idea where they've come from. But I felt there were stories that ran that were so far off the truth. I would never normally speak to a player because I read a lot of stories about myself that are not true, but I have to accept that's the job I'm in, and people speculate and write it as if it's exclusive or anything else. But when it's a player sometimes, and they might feel that they're reading it, so maybe it's true, maybe the manager is speaking to the press behind the back. That's obviously not the case. So even last night, we're still dealing with that, puzzled because he's there taking set plays in the morning for the game tomorrow, and then he's reading that he's not going to the European Championship. I really don't understand it. Like, for me, it's no drama. I accept, as the England manager, this is what I deal with. I always go back to front page of the whatever it was. I'm the biggest fan of British Bake Off. I have Bake Off parties at my house, and I'm desperate to be on the show. The only thing in the story that was true was my age. That's the world I live in. But for my players, I want to protect them, and so again, we're having to speak to Trent last night to say, look, don't know where this is all coming from. It's nonsense. Because people then jump on it and say, I've got an agenda or I don't like the kid. It's an incredible situation, really. But as I say, not bothered about it from my own point of view, but I do always think about the players.
Thanks, Dan. Next we'll go to Jack Pitbrook from The Athletic. Sorry, Jack, you're on mute.
Sorry. Hi, Gareth. You talked about the possibility of replacing players who are injured up until before the Croatia game. Is that an option for players who are currently recovering from an injury and trying to prove their fitness, like Henderson and Maguire, or would that only be for new injuries?
Yeah, no, that only for new injuries. So we don't have that option with those guys.
Okay. You've talked a bit about Maguire's recovery. Can you tell us a bit about Henderson, Rashford and Grealish and how they're getting on?
Jordan has trained with the team all week, so that's been good. I mean, we've had to modify him through certain parts of the session. He'll be involved in the game tomorrow. So his progress is good, but we're realistic about what that might look like. Jack has trained with the team, hasn't been able to train every day. We've got to manage his load. So again, we want to get the players to the best possible point, but we don't want to break them in the process. Marcus, we haven't seen on the grass, but I've spoken with him, and he assures me he's happy with where he's at. So we go from there with that one.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, next we'll go to BBC Look North.
Hello, Gareth. It's Dawn Thewlis here from BBC.
How you doing, Dawn?
Because I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah,
Long
good
time
to
no
see you.
You too. Just a couple of quick ones from me. Obviously, it's important to take England matches around the country, I think, to get fans involved from all over and get behind the team in a big tournament. But why choose Middlesbrough this time?
Well, the initial decisions come from the FA, so they give me the possibilities. They wanted to take the team to the northeast. We were hoping to play at Newcastle as well. And if we'd had the opportunity with full stadiums and without having to set the stadiums up for COVID, we would have liked to have used both stadiums. And of course, when we were coming to the northeast, I knew that the training facilities here, as well as the hotel, are, fabulous environment. It's been great, very relaxed for the boys. They've, some play a bit of golf. The weather's been glorious. We only have to walk across the field to the training ground. And of course, the real bonus in this sort of era of sporting bubbles with COVID, because the weather's been so good, we've been able to sit outside. We've been able to spend more time together, eat outside. And that's, I think, been great for everybody psychologically.
Of course, coming back to the club where you captained and managed is nice for you, but also good for Teesside fans in particular to be able to see a game of this calibre.
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing here 2003 against Slovakia, I think it was, and everybody was hugely proud to host the England team, and you can see the excitement around the area already. So, yeah, I'm of course delighted to bring the team here, but yeah, it wasn't initially my decision, so I don't want any accusations of nepotism.
Thank you, Dor. Next we'll go to Marcello Courage from TV Globo. Sorry, Marcello, your mute button's on.
Second. Now, can you listen to me?
I
Yes.
can hear you, yeah.
Okay. So, Gareth, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Kieran, too. I would like to know, given the circumstances of the pandemic in this country, which are pretty nice now, but we still are living in the pandemic, and this competition has like 11 countries involved, and there's a big possibility of you guys flying abroad. How much of a challenge is this to your plans to work with the team, Gareth?
Well, we've experienced this throughout the autumn and in March, you know, the very restrictive environment in those periods for team meetings, for the guys to socialise together, most importantly, because, you know, one of the great things about this group of players, they get on so well, they want to spend time just chatting and sharing their experiences, and that was really difficult through the previous camps. Now, because we are going to be together for a longer period without people coming from the outside, as we're together for those longer periods, we can start to ease those restrictions because we'll have more negative tests and we'll have more awareness of that. And we're in the summer now, so like I said, we can get outside more, which it allows us to operate a little bit differently. So the possibility of travel will be exactly the same as it's been for the players with their clubs and for us with the national team over the last 12 months. We're used to that. We know how to prepare for it. It's not what you'd choose, but everybody is facing those difficulties, and you know, we respect that so many people in the world haven't been able to do their jobs in the way we have.
And Kieran, living in a different country like Spain, you probably felt different standards of dealing with the pandemic for a football player and for clubs. What you're thinking about England in this case, and the possibility of playing in front of your crowd, your people at the group stage?
Yeah, obviously for myself, at times it was challenging, obviously in Spain, with everything that was going on, but I tried to keep myself busy with the club, and the most important thing for me was my family. But yeah, to be representing England at Wembley, you know, it's a dream come true. To play the Euros for England, to be in and around the team, and to play in front of the fans at Wembley, it's an unbelievable feeling, especially for the supporters. But yeah, it's one tournament that I'm really looking forward to. I'm absolutely delighted to be here, involved with the team, and just looking forward to it now.
Okay, thank you very much, Marcello. Okay, we've only got time for two more, so apologies to plenty of you who've got your hands raised already. We'll take one from Jack Hart at Stats Perform.
Hi, Gareth.
Hi, Jack.
12 out of your 23 outfield players have combined for 62 direct free kick attempts this season in the Premier League. Have you even begun to think of a pecking order for those?
Well, the quality of the free kick taking after training is very high. So the pecking order will be based on what we see in those training sessions and what we know people are capable of. Because if they're not delivering in training and hitting those areas regularly, then there'll be no transfer into the game. So no point going in with hope. We've got to see the action. But it's a good school at the end of training sessions, that's for sure.
Okay, thank you, Jack. And we'll finish with one last one from Jonathan Swain from ITV Good Morning Britain.
Hi, Gareth. Good to see you. Just to give us a sense of I know the training is one thing, isn't it? Getting all the players together, you've got all the names in the squad now. Just gives a sense of how important it is, something that you can't perhaps teach the players, and that is just how well they're going to get together, in the training and sort of off the pitch together. They're going to be with each other now for a number of weeks, and lots of managers talk about them going World Cups. You know it yourself, or particularly like the Lions tour. You've got all these players from different clubs, different countries now, and with your squad as well. It gives a sense how important that is and what sort of things you can do to bring all the players together to get that great atmosphere amongst them.
Well, these boys get on unbelievably well. I mean, there's lots of connections between boys who've played at youth level together, different age groups, boys who've been at clubs. Kieran was obviously with the boys at Spurs. Kyle Walker has those connections with the boys at Spurs. Raheem has the connections with Liverpool. So there's so many little interlinked groups of players. They socialise a lot when they're not with England. They keep in touch on social media. They're proud to be part of this England club, if you like. We've built an atmosphere, and it's credit to the players that it feels like a club. And then, because it's like that, their commitment to each other on the pitch is massive. So there's no doubt that social part is really important. But it's only by having good people and good players like we've got that we're able to build that.